As more and more people start to get their hands on the new Nissan Z, we are starting to realize that we are in the middle of the next big JDM sports car renaissance. With options like the new BRZ in '86, the GR Corolla, the new update to the Civic Type R, and the release of the Integra, there are more options now than there have been in the past 2 decades. But that introduces a new problem. Which one should you get? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Sean, back with another CarTalk Tuesday, and today we are comparing the 2 big boys in the JDM scene, the Nissan Z and the MkV Supra. Let's talk about it. It's good to be back and with a new set for the videos. I have moved to Atlanta, I've moved into the new house, and we are of course in the garage. So if you guys want to see a little house tour, leave me a comment down below and maybe we'll make something like that happen. Before we jump right in, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below. It helps me know that you guys enjoy this content and it helps the video get shared with like-minded car enthusiasts. And if you want to see more content like this, or if you want to follow my K24 engine swap build, then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next one. Now, let's jump into it. When the MkV Supra debuted back in 2019, it was met with heavy criticism.
It's just a BMW.
There's no manual transmission.
And of course, there was a lot of hate. The Supra is one of the quintessential JDM sports cars of all time, and a lot of car enthusiasts have reverence for the Mark IV. Mostly thanks to Fast and the Furious, but of course thanks to the influence of Paul Walker's orange livery Mark IV Supra. Many JDM fans hold the Supra in extremely high regard when it comes to the upper echelon of the sports car market. The MkV Supra was released with the BMW-sourced B58 engine, a turbocharged 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine, and this was one of the reasons why it got so much hate upon launch. Fans wanted a Toyota predecessor to the iconic 2JZ, but felt cheated by being given a BMW replica. However, if you look at how cars are made these days and how expensive it can be for new car and new engine development, it made the most financial sense for Toyota to find a partner to complete this build. When Toyota wanted to revive the Supra name and they wanted a turbo straight-six engine, which automaker out there is known for producing high-performance engines of this type? Oh yeah, it's BMW. Right out of the gate, people were doubting the B58's tuning potential, but once people got the car on a dyno, they started to realize what they were working with. Toyota claimed 335 horsepower at the crank, but almost everybody who started to test it found that they were getting in the 340s and 350s at the wheels. Normally, if an automaker says 335 horsepower, you'd expect to get something closer to about 300 due to transmission and drivetrain loss. With simple mods like a larger intake and a downpipe upgrade, people were able to easily get into the 400s. With a larger investment into a turbo upgrade, some people were able to get into the 600 horsepower range with very little additional effort. People started to realize that the power plant inside the MkV was much more akin to that of its brother than we had originally thought. Since its release, the MkV has been used for everything on track, ranging from enthusiast track days and autocross to world time attack and the pro levels of Formula Drift. Hell, Ryan Turk even swapped a Formula 1 Judd V10 into his MkV for his Pro FD car. In my personal opinion, I think the MkV is a suitable and worthy predecessor to the Mark IV, except for one little detail. No manual transmission. Wait, hear me out. Don't start disliking the video telling me that automatics can shift way faster than manuals ever could. I'm well aware of that. I think that one of the biggest reasons that the Mark V got so much hate when it was released is the fact that the Mark IV had one of the best and strongest manual transmissions ever made. Most sports cars are moving in the direction of the paddle shift autos, but enthusiasts and purists out there want the connection to the road that a manual transmission delivers. Fortunately, there is some hope peeking on the horizon. Toyota heard the outcries of the automotive community and they have officially announced that a manual transmission is coming to the MkV Supra later this year. So for all those who have been holding out for a manual sports car with more power than a BRZ or a Corolla, then there's still hope for the future. The manual isn't dead quite yet. However, in the current car market, there is another option that you have to consider. Nissan's rocky history in the last 20 to 30 years has been entertaining to say the least. The 370Z went unchanged for over a decade. Don't get me wrong, the 370 is a great platform, but its presence in the car scene without an update went a couple years too long. When Nissan started teasing the retro-styled update to the Z platform as a part of their Nissan Next program, the automotive community started to pay attention. The Nissan Z Proto was debuted in 2020, and the reaction from the crowd was mostly positive. This was Nissan putting everything they had into a project, taking all of the best parts of the lineage from the Z lineup. The iconic lines and shape from the 240 generation, returning to a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 from the 300ZX, the triple gauge cluster on the dash from the 350-370, and of course, a 6-speed manual transmission. Everything that we know and love about the Nissan Z all bundled into one beautifully wrapped package. Unlike Toyota, Nissan didn't exactly break the internet with their power plant of choice. They played it a little bit safe with the VR30 from the Infiniti Q60. However, that's not to say that this engine won't be capable. In stock form, this engine is rated at 400 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. We've seen people modify the VR30 with bigger exhausts and E85 reach up into that 500 horsepower range, and who knows what a turbo upgrade will do for this thing. Now, the reliability aspect of that is still yet to be seen, as there's not many people that actually modify their Q60s, and the new Z is still kind of yet to be broken into from a serious modification standpoint. Hopefully we can avoid all of the oil consumption issues that the 350 and 370 were prone to, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Along with the engine setup, the 6-speed manual option features an Exity high-performance clutch and even a carbon fiber drive shaft. That's kind of insane to get stock from a manufacturer for a sports car in this price range. The new Z is offered in 2 different trim levels, being Sport and Performance, and depending on your priorities, you may actually want to go with the cheaper Sport trim. The base Nissan Z is projected to sell at an MSRP of around $40,000. But in the current market of high inflation and ridiculous dealer markups, I doubt anyone will have good luck actually buying at that price. The performance package is an additional $10,000 add-on, and to me, the upgrades seem a bit weak. The designers put so much effort into upgrading this platform and making the base car so good that the extra benefits that you get with the performance package just don't really seem all that worth it to me personally. With the performance trim upgrade, you get a few aero pieces like a front splitter and a duckbill style wing. The manual transmission gains synchro rev, which is Nissan's auto rev match downshifting, and the automatic gets some upgraded paddle shifters inspired by the R35 or something. For braking, the performance pack delivers slightly larger rotors on both front and rear, and some Brembo style floating calipers. There are no real changes to the suspension setup to speak of, but I think that one of the biggest draws for the performance package is the upgrade to a mechanical clutch type limited slip differential. On the interior, the performance pack has leather seats versus cloth, you have a 9-inch touchscreen versus an 8-inch one, and you have an upgraded sound system and better noise cancellation. But if you're like me and an exhaust upgrade is one of the very first things you would do, then that extra noise cancellation doesn't really seem necessary. If you're an enthusiast and you plan on modifying your car anyway with aftermarket aero, bigger exhaust, bigger wheels and tires, some engine mods, coilovers, I don't really see the point of the performance pack, except for maybe the limited slip diff. If you're looking at the performance pack and an additional $10,000 add-on for bigger brakes and a quieter interior, I personally don't really see the value there, especially if you're going to be modifying the car anyway. Now, if you're comparing these two and you're trying to decide which one to buy, then I think you've got a really hard choice to make. Both of them have turbo 6-cylinder engines that are very tunable. With the introduction of the 6-speed manual on the Supra later this year, you can check the box on that one too. Both of them have very nice interiors, and aftermarket aero parts will be plentiful once the Nissan Z starts to become a bit more commonplace. If I had to choose one today, right now, I would probably have to go with the MkV Supra, simply because of the fact that it's been proven for a couple of years now and the Z is still a bit of an unknown. I'm just not sure of how reliable the Z's VR30 engine will be with modification. Also, there's a pretty big price difference between these two as well, with the base Sport Model Z being listed at $40,000 MSRP, while the base 6-cylinder Supra is around $52,000. However, if you factor in the performance pack for the Z, then you're actually looking at a very close comparison between these these two cars. But that is going to wrap it up for this one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you like the new set. Leave me a comment down below which of these two cars you would pick if you had the option. I think that both of these cars are great, and if I was actually in the market for one of these, I would have a really tough time making that decision. As a reminder, I am on both Instagram and TikTok, where I post updates to my K-Swap Subaru BRZ build. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you give it a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out, and until next time, build your dreams. It's been a turbo straight six. Which automaker out there? Which automaker out there? Oh. Hello.
What you doing, boy?
What's up?